It's November 30th, 2015, and you're ready to represent the U.S. at Le Bourget, a town hall in the suburbs of Paris. Representatives of 195 nations are gathered here today for a conference to discuss a new agreement on climate change that is in the works, with the goal of reducing global greenhouse gas emissions.
Key greenhouse gases emitted by human activities globally include carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, N2O, and fluorinated gases. Scientists hope that the agreement will cut global greenhouse gas emissions by about half, enough to stave off an increase in atmospheric temperature of 2 degrees Celsius or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Such a raise in the atmospheric temperature would have a devastating global impact.
Currently, the Earth's temperature is rising, and if it continues to rise above 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, there will be unthinkable environmental and societal consequences. A global warming of 9 degrees Fahrenheit is anticipated within the next century if nothing is done. Scientists predict that if greenhouse gas emissions continue to be unrestricted, and if global warming continues at this rate, global weather and climate patterns will change dramatically. There will be destructive storms, sea levels will rise, and there will likely be severe droughts and widespread food and water shortages.
Scientists fear that water scarcity and therefore food scarcity could spark a mass global migration as people seek out a new food supply. Much more irrigation would be needed to grow the same amount of food that is currently produced, putting a huge strain on resources that are already scarce, especially in parts of Asia, North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East.
In addition, this climate change would also alter the natural landscape and animal populations. Tundra would turn to forests, grassland to deserts, and the impact on animal habitats would perhaps be irreversible. Scientists believe that humans may not be equipped to face these impacts.
Now the question is, what do we do? What can we do? That's why 195 of the world's countries are gathered here today in Paris in the town hall. There's a big negotiation ahead of you, and you want the US to do its part to reduce climate change. What do you do? A. Run away screaming. B. Begin preparing for the apocalypse. C. Subject yourself to the hopelessness of the situation. Or D. Agree to take part in an agreement that proposes a global climate change agenda in order to try to limit the increase of global average temperature.
If you chose D, congratulations. The U.S. has taken an important step in participating in the Paris Climate Deal. The deal imposes a series of legally binding requirements for climate change policies on every involved country and requires a tremendous amount of effort and funding. But if each country does its part, we may be able to cut global greenhouse gas emissions by half and prevent a global catastrophe.
The climate deal has several steps. It states that the involved countries will undertake efforts to limit the increase in global temperature to below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. It calls for policies to promote the preservation of forests and reduction of emissions from deforestation. It states that developed countries should continue to collect funds to address any loss or damage associated with climate change and requires the countries to reconvene every 5 years to offer new proposals. The EU predicts that it will have cut emissions by 40% by 2040, compared with 1990 levels, and the US will have cut emissions by 26 to 28% by 2025, compared with 2005 levels. These are noble aspirations, but this Earth is our only home, and with unity of purpose, anything is possible.